Yeah. Yeah. Whoa. I can't believe an hour and a half has flown by already.
Yeah.
I was just about to say, guys. Yeah, we've been going for a pretty long time.
Any questions or comments from the live chat?
Yeah, sure. We'll just kind of say it. We'll give him a minute or so to kind of type something up. So yeah, so like this is going to be my kind of like official kind of announcement of this. I've done a few streams in between like this and now, and just kind of haven't mentioned it. But so I went to my counselor a couple of months ago, and like she basically kind of like asked me, like if I had been tested for like this or that and the other thing, and I said no, and I met with a psychotherapist and with a behavioral therapist, and a couple of weeks ago I was diagnosed as having high functioning Asperger syndrome. So technically speaking, I'm autistic. Didn't really kind of know how to like. It's sort of just like my whole kind of reaction to it was just like, well, like, what do I do now? Like, I don't really know like what you want me to do with this information. So like, but yeah, it was just kind of, I don't know. It's just kind of strange, like it doesn't really, I get it now. Like there's been like several stuff like in work, especially where like how I react to, so like basically if I have more than one person talking to me at the same time, that's like literally just like sensory overload for me, and I freak the fuck out. I just like everybody just shut the fuck up. Okay. You talk to me, I'll deal with you, and now you talk to me, and you know what I mean? Like that sort of thing. There's like a bunch of other examples that I could kind of point to, but yeah.
I think that's about it. It gives you a reason or a way to explain certain things, like the multiple people talking to you at the same time. But it really shouldn't affect the way that you conduct yourself in any way. It'll give you a reason.
It hasn't so far. It's just kind of,
yeah. But I mean, I believe that there are far more people on the autism spectrum than are actually said. These are the people with autism. I knew somebody that I worked with that his son was autistic, like diagnosed autistic, and he had a lot of problems with his son, like trying to contain himself like that. But for sure, this guy that I worked with had autism. It was autistic as well, for sure. He is very socially. Not really awkward, but not knowing when to stop. Like if he had an issue, like he'd wait, he'd keep an eye out to see the person he wanted to talk to. As soon as they entered the room, like he'd go right up to you and start talking. It's like, let me take my coat off. I just got here. Or he'd follow you into the men's room, and while you're standing at the urinal, he's still talking. It's like, no. This is my private time.
Yeah. Well, I guess what I would say to that is, of course, I always have to make jokes, right? So I didn't think you were any crazier than any other Irishman I'd ever met. But
you've got a certain leeway with being Irish.
Fair. No.
I mean, you're halfway there. You're halfway there. But I would say, but on a serious note, I would say, I commend your bravery and your honesty, because the stigmas attached to mental health disorders are huge. They can be incredibly cumbersome, and it takes a lot of fucking guts to admit that. And I also thank you, and I don't mean this come across in some weird way, but I'm honored that you picked a time when we were on to come forward with something like that. So thank you for that. And I love you, brother. And if there's ever anything, I mean, what the fuck can I do from 3,000 miles away? But, of course, if there's ever
you could send me money. That's all that, I have a PayPal for a reason.
Then certainly know that you've always got a couple of crazy fucking Canadian friends.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, thanks.
One crazier, more crazy than the other.
I haven't really kind of like.
I wasn't going to say that about Dean, but
I thought I'd be open as well, because I'm that shit.
Yeah, no, I haven't let it like affect the way that like I conduct myself and stuff like that. Like how I deal with like trauma. I was saying this in the in the debate that I did on Wednesday, I don't really. It was a super chat question. It didn't like come up naturally, obviously, because it was on politics. But like how I deal with like grief is I just make jokes. Like it's just how I deal with it. And I said as well, you know, like I know that for a lot of people, you know, kind of like, you know, if a loved one dies, just for example, you know, that like it might be like super, you know, appropriate for them, or like that's how they deal with it, to sit around a kitchen table drinking tea and feeling sorry for themselves and crying the whole day. That may be your way of dealing with grief, and I'm not going to stop you. But that just doesn't work for me. I don't feel any better or worse for having done that. So like how I deal with it is I just make jokes, and I've made jokes like all day, every day, ever since like the first day that I found out that like that I have Asperger's syndrome, I turned to my mom and I was just like, I wonder if I can get one of those like parking badges that said you can work anywhere, you know, like one for the like fucking disabled people, you know what I mean? That sort of thing. Like like it's just how I deal with it. I don't.
Yeah,
you know,
I don't think that's unusual. There was one. I remember watching one comedian one time. It was on one of the. I think it was actually on that show, Last Comic Standing, the reality TV show. And there was a one comedian who had cerebral palsy, and he was standing up there, and he said he was doing a stand-up skit. And one of the jokes that he said that absolutely killed. Of course, he was the only one to get away with saying it. He said, "In high school, I was voted most likely to get the best parking spot." And you know, it was just, you know, and so different, you know, different people anyway, different people deal with grief in different ways. And I think I think as long as you don't go as far as, you know, turning the corpse of your loved one into a fucking marionette, probably haven't gone too far, right? Because you know, grief affects people in different ways. Like I did not cry at my father's funeral, but I was a fucking basket case at my mother's.
Yeah, I think grief is a very personal thing, and deal with it.
It affects everybody differently. Affects everybody.
I mean, I know a personal friend of mine who told me something very like when his mother was going through a medical issue, and he told me about it, and he was laughing the whole time he was telling me about it. So I just naturally thought he was joking. I was like, "Why would you joke about this?" And he was no, I'm serious, but he's laughing, right? Because that was just it was affecting him in a way, and coming out about it was also affecting him, and he was just laughing at the time.
Probably a defense.
So it's everybody acts differently, right?
Yeah.
Like I don't even know if I cried at my sister's funeral, but like before and after is, just like piles of tears.
Yeah, you just, you know, your body just goes, okay, this is what we're gonna do, and sometimes you're just along for the ride, I think.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, way to bring the fucking stream down, man.
Right.
No,
it's like buzz, man.
To kind of in an effort to kind of bring it back.
I ate 12 edibles beforehand for this.
In an effort to kind of bring it back up, and we haven't had any questions from the live chat, so you know, like we'll kind of like say our goodbyes after that. Sure. One of the other questions that I got was like I had talked about how I've done stand-up comedy a heap of times on stream, and this one username that I didn't actually recognize but had obviously watched my streams, the super chat that he said was, you know, like you've done this, like is there any like, do I think that there's any like topics that are off limits? And okay, so I don't, but then he super chatted afterwards and he asked, could I tell a joke right there and then? And I was like, dude, like put me on the fucking spot. Like I did not expect it to come up. So I came up with what I personally think is like one of like the weakest jokes that I personally have. Like my sense of humor is pretty dark. Like, well, that's what other people say. I don't really consider it to be that dark. The joke that I said was, what does a Make-A-Wish child and a carton of milk have in common? An expiration date. So like, but dude, James's face as soon as I said that was just like, oh my god! Like I was just like, okay, dude, that is like the very, 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 very tip of the iceberg of my sense of humor. You do not want to see me live because oh god. But
well, I mean, like there are comedians that do claim that there are no topics that are safe. They're like, you can make fun of everything. Like Louis C.K. is one of those guys. One of my favorite.
Ricky Gervais is another.
Ricky Gervais. I was just gonna say that.
But I mean, Louis C.K. He said that child rape or anything like that. It shouldn't be seen as so badly. Like if we didn't think that people who did that were so bad, then there probably wouldn't be as much child rape and murder. It would they would just rape them. They wouldn't murder them as well. I mean, that's going way deep.
Exactly.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. He's like saying if it wasn't so bad, then they wouldn't feel that they had to kill them too.
Exactly. Or so says the representative of the Catholic Church.
Exactly. But I mean, that's the darkest joke I've heard from like somebody who's on the national stage.
Yeah,
that's pretty funny.
Probably one of the like other and weirdly so it was kind of on the same lane was the SNL monologue that he had like 4 or 5 years ago, where he was like, if people told me that if I ate a Mounds bar again, that I would go to jail and everyone would hate me, I would stop doing it. So you can only surmise that from their point of view, like from a child rapist's point of view, like it must be really good, like from their point of view. It's like for them to risk so much, and it was just, oh my god, these things on SNL. This is on like cable TV.
Yeah, but it's live cable TV. That's the problem.
Exactly. That's
yeah. Like I'm sure Lorne Michaels was kicking himself for.
He also has that but maybe routine. Where he says that,
of course, but maybe.
Yeah. And he's like, of course, like people with nut allergies, we need to be aware that they have nut allergies, and of course, we need to, try and separate their foods from places where nuts are touched. And we should, of course, in schools, we should ensure that nobody brings any kind of nuts and stuff like that. But maybe, if touching a nut kills you, you should be dead. Maybe.
Yeah, it's so weird. That's here's an interesting segue. If I couldn't have had peanut butter and jelly sandwiches probably 3 days a week in school, what would I have eaten?
Yeah.
Like they're just
every single day in my entire grade school career, I had peanut butter and jam for lunch. Every single day. And my mom would ask me, "What do you want for lunch?" I'd be like, she goes, "Don't you want something else?" And I was like, "No." Peanut butter every single day my entire grade school career.
Wow.
And I still love it today.
Oh yeah, it's good, yeah. But is it crunchy or smooth?
I go through phases. It's mostly smooth, but I do go through phases of crunchy. But then I also have I decide whether it's toasted or just regular bread, whether it's closed or open, these are all
Have you ever tried making it with cookie butter?
What?
Cookie butter. You can buy cookie butter. Well, there's a reason
what
it's
is
fat.
Cookie
right?
butter.
So,
I live 5 minutes away from this guy. I don't know what cookie butter is.
Yeah. So
we're talking about your girlfriend now.
Yeah, don't tell Shannon. Jesus. So that's my wife, everybody. But no, it's in like with the condiments, right? So there's there's peanut butter jam, and then there's this stuff called cookie butter, which has like little chunks of cookie inside, like cookie dough peanut butter stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
I've never even noticed that at the store.
Yeah.
Cookie butter. I'm gonna look it up now and just take a look.
Don't steal my fucking cookie butter, man. There's a line. There's a fucking
never
line,
heard of
man.
it. I've never even heard of it.
Yeah. I first saw it at Trader Joe's. Anybody watching from the U.S. knows what Trader Joe's is. Like a little boutique grocery store. But President's Choice started getting it up here.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah, PC cookie dough.
You say it's in the condiments, or is with the peanut butters and stuff?
It's with the peanut butter and shit.
Okay.
I have a comment there for you, Michael.
That's Tony's best friend.
Stoner's best friend.
So I joked about the edibles. I've never done pot in my life in any way, shape, or form.
I can tell that by the fact that you said that you've never done pot. You don't do pot. You smoke it.
I have led an exceedingly delightfully boring life. And so I've never. It's funny when they legalized pot in Canada, and I had a couple people ask me like, "Oh, what are you gonna do?" I'm like, "I'm gonna use it now as much as I did yesterday. Like, this has no effect on me. As long as they can test for it, and make sure people don't drive when they're high. I don't give a fuck." So yeah, all it's really gonna do is make sure the fast food restaurants have peaks at about 11:30 at night. Mm-hmm. So I'm sure Taco Bell's doing great. Yeah. But yeah, that's not mine. I think I heard that joke. So another comedian said that somewhere. So I don't want to take.
But it'll stop. Sending innocent people who are high to jail. I mean, just like let people fucking smoke.
Yeah, because I mean, dealing in Canada is still illegal. You can't traffic it. But I mean, you can.
The thing is, if you want to smoke pot, you're gonna smoke pot. It doesn't matter. Whether there's a law against it or not. If you want to smoke it, you're gonna smoke it. If you don't, you won't. So what's the problem?
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh no, but it's a gateway drug, though. No.
Well, I mean,
it's a gateway drug to what? Cartoons and fucking pizza? Like, shut the fuck up! Like, just stop! Like, yeah.
I don't know about you or like I'm not really into the drug scene, and I don't know, but I don't really think that the person that you get your weed from would have access to heroin or cocaine. Like do you buy that from the same person?
Oh, I think if you're
I don't, pot, or at least I haven't.
I mean, if you were getting pot and they had heroin, cocaine, why wouldn't you just get that?
Yeah, like if you have the option of heroin and cocaine, then why would you settle for pot? Like, why would you do that?
No, we're just saying, like, it's a gateway drug.
Why would you go? Why would you have the option of, okay, if I take this, I will clean my entire house in 10 minutes, or I will veg on the couch for 4 hours just fucking eating and watching TV. Like, why wouldn't you go for the second one?
Exactly. You know what I mean? It's like going to the restaurant that has cheese sandwiches, chef salads, and hamburgers. Nobody's getting a fucking cheese sandwich or a fucking chef salad.
Yeah.
Everybody's getting a fucking hamburger.
Yeah. It's like going to a prostitute for a hug. It's like going to a prostitute for a hug. It's like
that's an overpriced hug.
That's an overpriced hug, yeah. And so, because you have the price list, right? There's here's what it is for a hug. Here's the hug with my hand down your pants. Here's here's all the different ones, right?
It depends what you want me to hug.
Yeah, exactly. Jeez. You got big problems if somebody can hug your dick.
I'm just saying.
What are they hugging with, too? Right?
Is that a problem? Like,
yeah, I've got
maybe a little one, but
yeah.
Is that a problem?
Is that a problem?
To some people, maybe, to some, but
Yeah,
but Stephen, you and I are white, so we don't.
I mean, statistically. Oh. Anyway, guys, this has been genuinely so much fun.
Yep. Hour and 45 minutes.
Yeah. So go and I will leave a link to the CA podcast
Gracias.
Facebook thing, and what was I going to say? So like, subscribe, ring the bell, all that YouTuber bollocks, and we will talk to you in the next one.